My name is Benjamin Oboh, and the topic of my dissertation is the impact of training and development in a manufacturing company. I actually looked on, I used Dunlop Nigerian PLC as a case study, and in my the aims of the dissertation work is to determine the extent to which management sees training and development as vital tool to employees' growth, and also as a tangible investment in increasing productivity, especially in this era of economic depression. I looked at, in my dissertation work, I have got 3 objectives. The first objective is to identify the sources and methods of training which are adopted by Dunlop Nigerian PLC, putting into consideration the present condition of the economic climate of the country which it operates in. The second objective is to identify the direct benefits of a planned and well-managed staff training in manufacturing companies such as Dunlop Nigerian PLC. And the third and final objective of the dissertation work is to suggest ways in which appropriate training and development programs can be drawn up for the employees of the company, which provide a return on investment and contribute profitably to the entire business. And the rationale of the dissertation is just how can the training and development of staff contribute to the company remaining viable in the present economic situation of the country in which it operates, talking about Nigeria. The scope of my dissertation work is to determine the extent to which management of Dunlop Nigerian PLC view the training and development of their employees as vital in the course of business planning as a direct contributor to increasing productivity, especially in this era of worldwide economic recession. And the study will also focus on finding out whether the present method being used in the company is in the selection of staff for in-service training in the company is acceptable to the majority of the employees. The research questions, I've got 4 major research questions. The first one is, what are the benefits derived from the training and development programs? Talking about the Dunlop Nigerian PLC. The second question is, what effects do the program have on management and the recipient staff in the company? And my third question is, how do training and development programs help Dunlop remain viable in the present economic situation? Talking about the recession, the worldwide economic recession. And the fourth and last question is the program seen as an investment on people or as a cost? Does this training and development program, is it seen by management as a cost or an investment to the entire company? I actually, looking at my literature review, I talked about, first of all, I introduced the main dissertation work as a whole. I also looked at the company, and then I talked about the training and definition. I defined the training and development. I also looked at the importance and purpose of training and development. Then I went to the extent of also looking at the methods of training and development. I looked on the job training method and also looked at off-the-job methods. Then I also looked at the systematic approach to training and development in my chapter, in my literature review, and also the training and development as a business tool. Is training and development a business tool, and what are the returns on the investment of training and development? Then I also looked at training and development in the manufacturing sector as a whole. Talking about training and development in the manufacturing sector as a whole, and talked about training and development in developing countries. Training and development in developing countries is quite different from what we've got in developed countries. So I looked on there, and I also talked about finally, in my literature review, I looked at the overview of the Nigerian economy, as it Nigeria is a developing country, so I had to look around the economy and see how viable it is. In my chapter 3, I talked about the research methodology in my chapter 3. I defined the research methodology, and I also looked at the paradigms and approaches. I looked at the positivistic and phenomenological paradigms, and also looked at the quantitative and qualitative approaches to research works. I also talked about the sampling techniques and data collection methods. I looked at profitability, probability and non-probability methods of data sampling. I also looked at looking at probability sampling techniques. I looked at simple random techniques. I talked about quasi-random. I also talked about stratified random, and I talked about multi-stage and cluster techniques. And in the non-probability sampling techniques, I talked about the quota, the snowball, and the convenience techniques. The method I used in collecting my data in this research work, I used the questionnaire. I used the open-ended and closed questions actually in my dissertation work. I also had some telephone interviews, and my respondents were 50. I made a selection of 50 respondents in my dissertation work from Dunlop Nigerian PLC. I looked at the ethical issues surrounding dissertation work, carrying out research work, and all that, because you have to be able to keep respondents confidential, kind of. You don't have to take. It should be confidential. Your questions should not impede in their personal life and all that. So I looked at the ethical issues in my dissertation work as well. So my data analysis, I actually used the frequency distribution. That is what I employed in my data analysis. I used the charts, and I used both the pie chart and the histogram in my data analysis. And also I compared and contrast both authors' work and what I've got in my research data. The sampling population size of this research work is 50, as I've said before, and these 50 respondents was taken from the employees of Lagos branch of Dunlop Nigerian PLC. And as a whole, I can tell you I actually did a very good work, and if you have a good look and read through my dissertation work, you will be satisfied, and hopefully I will come out with good grades. Thank you very much, sir, and have a good day.